Hey, how's it going? This is Melinda and welcome to my channel. Today, I want to talk to you about a recent trip I made to Michigan. I've never been to Michigan before. It was a great state to visit. We were there for a specific reason to visit our daughter. She was doing something in Michigan for a while. We went there for a few days. I did not expect to get to go to record stores, but I was thrilled to get to go. We were in Ann Arbor, a beautiful city. We had such a good time. So I want to show you some records that I was able to get on our road trip. I also want to give a special shout out to Steve Carlson. He lives in the state of Michigan. He's a couple hours away from where we live. I love Steve. I watch his channel all the time. It is my VC dream if I could ever get a chance to meet him in person. Like I said, he's a couple hours away. This trip wasn't really about me. It was about visiting our daughter. And so I didn't get to meet him, and I hope to get to someday. But I got to go to some killer record stores, and I'm going to show you what I found, because some of these records have really just outlived what my expectations were. Sometimes when I see certain labels or I am buying a certain record, I don't have high hopes, and then I'm pleasantly surprised. I love when that happens, and sometimes it's the reverse. But I'm going to show you some really cool records that I found in Michigan. And I'm going to start out with Wazu Records. It's downtown. All of the records that I bought were from downtown, because that way my daughter and everybody else could kind of go to other stores and I could sneak off to a record store. Wazu Records is literally a door on the side, like of a building. You have to go up the stairs and there's the record store. It's literally a hole in the wall, a good hole in the wall. But if you don't know what you're looking for, you will walk right past it. Thankfully, I did not do that. And I got a great record, Paul McCartney's Trippin' the Light Fantastic. It's Tripping the Live Fantastic. 3 LPs. This is the full concert. I've always had the highlights. Kind of always wanted to have the full concert. Paul McCartney is one of my favorite artists. He's my favorite solo artist of all time. Got to give love to Eddie Van Halen. He's my favorite artist of all time, favorite guitar player, favorite band. The Beatles are my second favorite band, and Paul McCartney, I love his solo work. It is the soundtrack of my life. And this concert is so comprehensive. It's got a lot of the Beatles stuff, a lot of his solo work. There's some hidden gems that are rarities you wouldn't expect. I love this. So when I grew up, I remember hearing Band on the Run, silly love songs. Grew into middle school hearing the Michael Jackson duets and Ebony and Ivory, So Bad. Remember being in high school, slow dancing to No More Lonely Nights. Getting out of high school, remember going to college hearing My Brave Face. I mean, he's literally been the soundtrack of my life. So this is a really cool concert. Like I said, 3 LPs, a lot of wonderful Beatles and McCartney songs. And it came with a booklet. I'll show the picture of Linda. To me, that's one of the highlights. I love their love story. Here's Linda holding some beautiful roses. And of course, Paul. He's so amazing. And this is a 1990 record. It's not that easy to find. A lot of you older collectors probably have had it for a long time. For me, I just don't see it. This is the only time I've ever seen that one out in the wild. So that was exciting. There's inner sleeves. I like this third inner sleeve, and I would just love to think that these people that are in the shot know about this picture and they have this album cover, this inner sleeve cover, because I think that's so cool to be in the audience and get photographed that way. So that was my Wazu Records find, and I'm now moving on to Encore Records, a great store. Enjoyed it thoroughly. I found some cool stuff there. First off, I needed a better copy of In Through the Outdoor by Led Zeppelin, and this is a pristine, beautiful copy. One of my favorite poses. It's just a cool concept, the whole thing, you know. This is beautiful, in perfect condition. It was still in this bag. You know, you don't always see these bags anymore. That was how they were originally put in. And the gimmick was you didn't know what pose you were going to have. I think there were 5 or 6 different poses. You didn't know which one you were going to get because they were in this bag. It also came with an inner sleeve that if you added water to it, it was like a watercolor type of thing. This one has never been touched. This record is pristine, and it had already come in an anti-static sleeve. When I see these older anti-static sleeves like this, I knew this came from a collector, someone who took really good care of their records, and it is absolutely gorgeous. And it sounds very, very good. My copy that I already had when I would play All My Love had some noise, so I was looking for a replacement, and for $20, that was a great deal. I also picked up a reissue of an amazing album by Can, Tago Mago. I'm not going to even try to pronounce it. I'm sorry. I know I probably butchered it. What a great record. I love krautrock. If I see it, I pick it up. I've never seen this record out in the wild. Yes, it's a reissue from 2019, but I didn't care. I just wanted to have this in the collection. It is so psychedelic, so interesting. And I did not have extremely high hopes for a 2019 pressing. I thought that's going to be as good as I'm going to get. I didn't think it was going to be as good as it is. It sounds actually very, very good. I don't know if it's digital or analog sourced. I just know that it sounds very, very good. Here are the inner sleeves. And it comes on orange vinyl, which is cool. It matches the album cover. I like it when it's transparent like that. I just think it's really pretty. 2 LPs. All right, so I really enjoyed this record. I think it's so cool. Side 1 is amazing. Hallelujah is a 18-minute and 32-second unbelievable performance. We're getting an amazing drums, then going into crazy guitar, back to drums, into funk. I mean, it's just a killer track. It takes up the whole side 2. Totally worth it. I love it. Side 3, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, is spelled A-U-M-G-N. It is 17 minutes and 22 seconds. Because of the way the vocals are and just the whole sound, if you own this record, I think side 3 is perfect for Halloween. Put that one on in the background when you're passing out candy. It's a perfect atmosphere for the fall. So a great release. I'm so happy to have that. It sounds better than I thought it would. And anytime that happens, when you're getting a reissue like that, sometimes you just don't know what you're getting. But I'm pleasantly surprised with that one. The next record is another one that really pleasantly surprised me. It was an Encore Records, but on a sad note, I will say that too. I picked up, I'm going to take it out of the package here, out of the plastic, so you could get a better look. This is Lynyrd Skynyrd's Street Survivors, and this is an original. 3 days after this record was released in October 1977, that horrific plane crash that took the lives of Steve Gaines, his sister, who was a backup singer, and Ronnie Van Zant. They all died in that horrible plane crash. And wow, unbelievable. It still makes me sad because I think of all the great music we missed out on. Ronnie Van Zant was incredible. I love him. Look at this eerie cover. And 3 days after this was released, they had the crash. And Steve Gaines' wife, Teresa, if you look at Steve in the middle, he is totally engulfed in flames. And he is one of them that died in that accident. She requested, please recall this album cover. It was too disturbing for her, and they did it. They took those albums, replaced it with something similar to what you see here, where it's just a plain black background. So these aren't as unique as the Beatles Butcher album cover or anything like that, but they're not as easy to find. So I was really, really happy to find the original of this, even though the story behind it's so sad. I actually really love this record. What's Your Name is a really cool song. I'm not a big fan of That Smell, but I know it was a big hit. But I really love all of the rest of these songs. Ain't No Good Life, Honky Tonk, Nighttime Man. The guitar playing is amazing. Okay, so when I saw this label, this is where my biases probably get the better of me. For some reason, when I see this particular music label, I always think, okay, this isn't going to sound very good. And I thought the same with this. But because of the rarity of the album cover, I went ahead and bought it. Anytime I see this MCA Records, you know, I just kind of think of Elton John records that don't sound as good. I just haven't had great luck with MCA pressings. That is no longer the truth. This was a beautiful pressing. It sounds killer. Ronnie Van Zant's voice is front and center. The guitars are beautiful. So I was so thrilled to find an original of Lynyrd Skynyrd's Street Survivors. Unfortunately, it does have a very sad story to it. But that record is wonderful. The 5th studio album, the final one with the entire original band. So while we're being depressing here, let me show you another record I found. It's a really cool record. I wouldn't say it's like the whole album is fantastic, but Gary Wright, this is the Dream Weaver. I've always wanted to have this. It's hard to find clean. They're not that expensive. I finally bought it, and I paid $11 for it, which is probably a lot for this record. But to get such a clean copy of it, and it, you know, it came out right after his passing. Or it didn't come out right after his passing. I picked it up right after his passing. Dreamweaver on my new stereo equipment sounds amazing, by the way, but I didn't even buy it for that song. I like Love is Alive. So I've always wanted to have this. I've looked at it several times before he died. I don't think they overcharged me for how clean this copy is, though. I see it for $3 to $5, but it's usually got some marks on the, you know, this is pristine and beautiful. So I am now thrilled to have the Dreamweaver, Gary Wright. I really am sad that he's gone now too. That was fantastic. That moves me to now a different record store that I went to, the final stop. Underground Sounds, another incredible record store. The guys there were so friendly. And I also have to say, I loved Encore Records. They were very kind there, very cool. Underground Sound was also great. And I found some great records. And what was so exciting, I was flipping through the bins at the top. And then all of a sudden I saw some people come in. They started pulling out the bins underneath the top, which I always consider to be like overstock. And they started pulling records out. And I started seeing what they were pulling out. Nothing I needed or wanted. They were earlier collectors. They were picking up more of what I already have. But I thought, I saw some things that they weren't picking up that I thought, when they walk away, I'm going. And so when they got a little further in their dig, I went under and I found some treasures. So sometimes it pays off to look at those bins underneath that you think are overstock, you know, the Born in the USA, the extra copies of things. It's sometimes worth a look, because look what I found. I found an original 1980 pressing of London Calling by The Clash. It even has that little hype sticker, 2 LPs on this epic label. And I already had this record. I have a 2004 copy and I have a box set version. And this 1980 version is the better sounding version. So I will probably let go of this 2004 version at some point. It sounds good. It's just not as clear and crisp as the original. The box set version's a little bit better. It's still, the original is fantastic and it's my favorite version of that record. So I am now thrilled to own an original of such a classic. Here's another great find, you guys. I've been trying to improve my Led Zeppelin collection. I have a white label promo of Led Zeppelin 4. I enjoy it. It sounds amazing. And at the same time, because it's a white label promo that's worth several $100s, I don't like playing it all the time. And now I don't have to, because I found a 1977 pressing. It's the same version. It's the George Peckham version. He mastered it. 1977 version of Led Zeppelin 4. It's not a promo copy, but it sounds great. If you find something that says a porky cut, or on this one, Pico Duck, he has some weird markings on his records, but they sound good. He's a great mastering engineer. So I am now thrilled to own this particular version of Led Zeppelin 4 at a very affordable price. Their prices at Underground Sound were very, very cool, and I really enjoyed it. Finally, I do want to show one more that I found at an antique store for $3. I didn't want to pay that much more for it, and the album cover is a little rough, but for $3, and the vinyl was pristine, I went ahead and picked up Toto's Hydra. I wanted it for one reason, 99. I love that song. I love the guitar work on it. It sounds amazing on my new stereo equipment. Oh, $3. I paid $3 for this record. And yeah, it's not an expensive record anywhere you go, but to find a perfect copy of it for $2.99 at an antique store. You know, I've been showing lately antique stores gone mad where they're charging extremely cheap, expensive prices. I got to give credit where credit's due. I found a $3 record that I'm very happy with and I love. Now I want to give a shout out to Prime Analog Records. Matt, he is a very cool guy, and he was so nice, and he sent some records my way. And it's been a while back, and I've gotten pretty far behind. I've had to do some traveling lately, so I've had to record some videos ahead of time. So unfortunately, it's been a little while since he sent these records to me. And they are by Karla Bonoff. She was a singer-songwriter. She still is, I'm assuming. She's about 71 years old now, but in the late 70s, early 80s, she was a singer-songwriter. She wrote songs for Wright, Linda Ronstadt, herself. She never quite got the fame that Linda Ronstadt or Wright got, but she wrote some great songs, and I'm sure she's benefited greatly from them financially. And Matt sent 3 Karla Bonoff records my way. So Karla Bonoff, the 2 songs that I knew immediately, I remember the song Personally that came out around 1982. I remember hearing that song on the Dick Clark National Music Survey. I also remember Somebody's Eyes from the Footloose soundtrack. So I really love her vocals. She's got a beautiful voice. If you put Jennifer Warnes and Linda Ronstadt in a blender, here comes Karla Bonoff. She's fantastic. She never quite got the fame that I think she deserves. And I will say, she is a full album experience. Putting on one of her records at the end of the day is so beautiful, so relaxing. I wouldn't say there's like standout tracks or hooks that really reel you in. She's just an all-around beautiful songwriter who creates great music, and I'm so grateful to have these in the collection. I'm going to leave a link for Matt at Prime Analog Records. Please consider subscribing to his channel and checking out his videos. Thank you so much, Matt, for sending those Karla Bonoff records my way. I have really enjoyed them, and it's good to know her a little bit better. And that is my video for this week. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, hit the like button and the notification bell, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.